Chapter 3. Emma doesn't like Jane. A few days later, while Emma and Harriet were out walking, they decided to visit Mrs. and Miss Bates. Mrs. Bates was a widow who lived in Highbury with her unmarried daughter. Miss Bates was a kind woman, but she was very talkative, and Emma thought she was silly and boring. She did not often visit her, but she wanted to introduce her to Harriet. When Miss Bates saw Emma and Harriet, she was very happy because she had some news to tell them.
Miss Woodhouse, can you believe what has happened? We have had a letter today from my niece, Jane Fairfax, who is living in Weymouth, a very nice town by the sea in the southwest of England. She is coming to stay with us, and we are very excited. You like Jane, don't you, Miss Woodhouse? She is a beautiful girl and so clever.
Yes, of course, Miss Bates. When is she coming?
Replied Emma, trying to sound interested.
Next week. She is coming for 3 months, and there is so much to do before she arrives.
Worried Miss Bates.
Then, after her time with us, Jane will look for a job as a governess,
said Mrs. Bates unhappily. Jane Fairfax was the same age as Emma, but they were not good friends. It was true that Jane was beautiful and clever. Everybody who knew her liked her, but Emma was a little jealous of Jane. She liked being the only beautiful and clever young woman in Highbury. Like Harriet, Jane Fairfax did not have any family or money, and without a rich husband, she needed to work. Emma did not like Jane, but she felt sorry for her. So when she saw her again, she tried to be friendly.
I believe you met Frank Churchill while you were in Weymouth, Jane?
Said Emma cheerfully.
Yes, I did,
replied Jane.
He is coming to visit Mr. and Mrs. Weston in Highbury soon,
said Emma, trying to smile.
Did you know?
Oh, really?
Replied Jane, looking uninterested.
I think that he sounds a very nice man. Did you like him?
Emma asked.
People say that he is a very nice man. I do not really know him myself,
replied Jane coldly. Jane was not very talkative, and Emma found the conversation difficult.
What is the matter with her?
She thought crossly.
Why is she being so cold and so unfriendly?
After that difficult afternoon, Emma did not really want to see Jane again very soon, but the next day Miss Bates and Jane came to visit her at Hartfield.
Emma, have you heard?
Said Miss Bates excitedly.
Mr. Elton is going to marry someone called Miss Hawkins from Bristol. I hear that she is very beautiful and very rich.
Emma could not believe this news. Could Mr. Elton have forgotten his words of love to her so soon?
But he has only been away for 4 weeks,
she said.
Yes, I know. He's a lucky man. And after the wedding, he will bring his bride back to Highbury. Isn't that good news?
Said Miss Bates, smiling happily. Emma did not think that it was very good news.
So, I was right about Mr. Elton?
Thought Emma to herself.
He was just looking for a rich wife, and that's why he asked me and not Harriet to marry him.
Mr. Elton came back to Highbury for a short visit before the wedding. Poor Harriet did not want to see him, but luckily she and Emma soon heard some news which stopped them thinking about Mr. Elton.
Emma, we have had a letter from Frank.
Said Mr. Weston.
He is coming to Highbury tomorrow. I know that you would like to meet him, so I shall bring him to visit you.
Frank was tall, handsome and friendly, and Emma liked him at once. After tea, they agreed to meet the next day, and he left to go and visit Jane Fairfax and Miss Bates. The next day, Emma and Mrs. Weston showed Frank around Highbury. They stopped at the Crown Inn.
This is a good place for a party, Emma.
Said Frank excitedly.
Why don't we have a ball here?
Oh, I love dancing. That's a wonderful idea.
Cried Emma.
We can invite Harriet and Mr. Knightley. And Jane Fairfax, of course. Did you see her yesterday?
Yes, I did. And I met her aunt, Miss Bates.
Replied Frank, laughing.
Did you often see Jane in Weymouth?
Asked Emma.
No, not often.
Replied Frank.
And you? Are you good friends with her?
He asked.
I have known her since we were children, but we are not good friends. I think that Jane is too unfriendly to make friends easily.
Replied Emma, and Frank quickly agreed with her. The next day, Emma talked about Frank to her friends.
He is very handsome, isn't he, Mrs. Weston?
She said.
Oh, yes.
Replied Mrs. Weston.
Very handsome.
And so funny, too.
Said Emma, smiling to herself. While they talked, Mr. Knightley sat reading his newspaper. He was tired of hearing everyone speak so warmly about Frank Churchill.